My name is Mr. Henderson, and I am 63 years old and I live in a quiet part of Dublin, just a short walk from the Liffey. My days are mostly filled with silence now, a silence that has grown deeper and heavier since my Mary passed away a few years back. Each morning I wake before the sun, the old clock on the mantelpiece ticking away the moments, a sound that used to comfort me but now only emphasizes the emptiness. I make myself a cup of strong tea, just as Mary taught me, and sit by the window watching the city awaken. The cobblestone streets below always look wet, even when it hasn't rained, reflecting the muted light of dawn. I used to work down at the docks, a hard, honest life that built calluses on my hands and a sturdy strength in my back. It was good, honest work, and it gave me purpose, a reason to get out of bed each day, knowing I was contributing. Now my pension keeps me afloat, but it is a meager comfort, a constant reminder of what I no longer have. My biggest challenge, the one that truly weighs on me, is this profound loneliness. It is like a quiet hum that never quite leaves my ears, a constant dull ache in my chest. The flat feels too large for just one man, the silence too vast. I find myself talking to Mary's photograph on the dresser, telling her about the price of milk or the funny-looking cloud formations. It is not really a conversation, of course, but it helps to pretend. I miss her laugh, her stories, her steady hand in mine. We had dreamed of a long, peaceful old age together, maybe traveling a bit, enjoying our grandchildren, but fate had other plans. Now my dream is simply to feel useful again, to escape this feeling of being invisible, like a ghost haunting my own life. My internal nemesis is the creeping doubt that tells me my best days are behind me, that I have nothing left to offer the world. "What is the point, Henderson?" that voice whispers in my ear. "You are just taking up space." I try to ignore it, to busy myself with small tasks, but it is always there, a shadow at the edge of my vision. I knew I had to do something, anything, to climb out of this pit of despair. I decided to try and find some purpose, some way to connect with the world again. I looked into volunteering at the local charity shop, thinking I could sort clothes or dust shelves, but after a few weeks, my old back problems flared up something fierce. The bending and lifting were too much, and they gently told me it wasn't quite the right fit for me. It felt like another failure, another sign that I was simply not up to anything important anymore. I tried to strike up conversations with neighbors, but everyone seemed so busy, rushing off to work or school, caught up in their own lives. They would offer a polite smile and a quick "Good morning, Mr. Henderson," but their eyes were already looking past me. I started spending more time at the public library, not just for the books, but for the quiet hum of activity, the feeling of being around people even if I wasn't speaking to them. I would watch the young people, heads bent over their books, full of energy and dreams, and I felt a pang of longing, wishing I could somehow reach out, share some wisdom, or just offer a bit of kindness. One person I started noticing was a young paperboy on my route. He was a skinny lad, no older than 12 or 13, and he always looked so tired, his shoulders slumped under the weight of his newspaper bag. His bicycle was a rusty old thing, its wheels often wobbling, the chain clanking. I'd often see him struggling up the steep hill near the church, sometimes pushing his bike because a tire was flat. I saw a bit of myself in him, that same determination to do the work, to be responsible, no matter the difficulty. I would even save a few extra euro notes from my pension, thinking I might buy him a new inner tube, but something always came up. My old washing machine decided to spring a leak, a costly repair that drained my small savings. Then came the letter from the council, informing me of a rate increase on my flat. It felt like every time I tried to take a step forward, 2 steps backwards were forced upon me. I was going to sell my old mountain bike, the one Mary gave me for my 60th birthday, to cover the new expenses. "Get out there, love," she had said, her eyes twinkling. "Get some fresh air, see the world." I had used it a few times, but it mostly sat in the corner of my flat, a silent testament to her love and my failed attempts at living a little. The thought of selling it made my stomach clench, a betrayal of her memory. My lowest point came on a particularly cold and damp Dublin evening. The kind of evening where the mist seemed to seep into your bones and settle there. I was sitting in my favorite armchair, a cup of lukewarm tea beside me, staring at a faded photograph of Mary. Her smile was so bright, so full of life, so different from the tired reflection I saw in my own eyes these days. I remembered her unwavering belief in me, her constant encouragement. "You can do anything, my love," she used to say. "Just set your mind to it." A wave of grief, sharp and overwhelming, washed over me. It felt as though a physical weight was pressing down on my chest, squeezing the air from my lungs. The idea of selling her bike, her beautiful gift, felt like the final surrender, the last thread connecting me to the vibrant life we once shared. I closed my eyes, picturing her face, hearing her voice, and the tears I had been holding back for so long finally came, hot and stinging. I felt utterly defeated, like I had failed her, failed myself, failed everything we had built. I just wanted to disappear. I stared out the window, watching the rain streak down the glass, blurring the streetlights into hazy halos. And then I saw him. The paperboy, much later than usual, limping along the street, pushing his bike, its chain clanking a mournful rhythm. The back wheel was buckled, bent at a terrible angle. He looked absolutely exhausted, his young shoulders slumped even lower than usual, his head bowed. He looked so small, so utterly broken in that moment, and I saw my own despair reflected in his struggling form. It felt like a sign, a confirmation of the world's indifference. I thought, this is it then. We are all just pushing broken bicycles up impossible hills until we can't anymore. I honestly felt like giving up on everything. But then, as I watched the boy disappear around the corner, something shifted inside me. The image of his small, burdened figure, so young yet carrying such a heavy load, resonated deeply. It was Mary's voice again, not in my ears, but in my heart. I remembered her saying, "Use it, love, live a little, or if you can't, make sure someone else can." I looked at my own sturdy mountain bike in the corner of my living room. It was a beautiful thing, strong and bright red, barely used, a gleaming testament to a healthier, more hopeful past. It had been Mary's thoughtful gift, meant to bring me joy and exercise. And there it sat unused while a young boy struggled. A sudden, fierce wave of purpose, like a lightning bolt, shot through me. This was it. This was something I could do. This was concrete. This was something that mattered. It was a way to honor Mary's generous spirit and to feel useful again, not for myself, but for someone else. I quickly grabbed a pen and a piece of paper. My hands trembled slightly as I wrote a short, simple note. For the paperboy, keep writing, keep shining. I found a sturdy piece of rope, hoisted the mountain bike onto my shoulder. It was lighter than I remembered, and quickly headed out into the damp Dublin night. The rain had softened to a drizzle. I knew exactly where he always parked his broken bicycle, leaning it against the lamppost outside the old post office building. I carefully tied my mountain bike to the lamppost, making sure it was secure, positioning it so the note was visible but the bike was discreetly placed in the shadows. I did not want to be seen. This was not about thanks or recognition. It was simply about an act of quiet, unexpected kindness. As I walked away, my hands empty but my heart strangely full, I felt a peculiar mix of sadness for the beautiful gift I was leaving behind, but also a profound sense of exhilaration, a new sense of hope bubbling up within me. It felt like I was finally giving a piece of my past away, but in doing so I was gaining something far more valuable, a renewed sense of purpose. The next morning I woke with a lightness I hadn't felt in years. The hum of loneliness was still there, but it was softer, almost a distant memory. I went for my usual walk along the canal path, and as I rounded the corner by the old bakery, I saw him, the paperboy, but he wasn't struggling. He was riding not his old broken bike, but my mountain bike. He was soaring along the street, a huge, unrestrained smile on his face, his legs pumping with an effortless joy. He whizzed past me, a blur of red and happiness, and for a fleeting moment our eyes met. He didn't know it was me, of course, but there was an unspoken connection, a shared moment of pure, unadulterated joy. A warmth spread through my chest, stronger and more comforting than any cup of tea, a warmth I hadn't felt since Mary was alive. I found a new volunteer opportunity a few weeks later at the local community center. They needed someone to help organize their weekly book club and share stories with the older members, a perfect fit for my mind, not just my aching back. I started talking more to my neighbors, sharing a cup of tea, exchanging stories, finding common ground. I felt less alone, less invisible. I often told the story of the paperboy and the mysterious bike, never revealing that I was the giver, and I could see the inspiration light up in people's eyes. It was wonderful to see how that one small, anonymous act of kindness rippled outwards, inspiring others to look for their own ways to make a difference, proving that kindness isn't always about grand gestures, but about seeing someone's need and acting quietly, selflessly. Months passed, and the days grew longer and brighter. One crisp morning, I was sitting on my favorite park bench, the sun warm on my face, watching the ducks glide across the pond. I saw the paperboy again, cycling towards me, not delivering papers this time, but with a group of his friends, laughing and joking. He looked taller, more confident. As he drew near, he slowed down, then stopped right in front of my bench. "Excuse me, Mr. Henderson, isn't it?" he asked, a shy but knowing smile on his face. He was holding a small, carefully wrapped package tied with a blue ribbon. "My mum wanted me to give you this," he said, handing it to me. "She said you always look out for me. And well, I know it was you. The bike, I mean. It had a little scratch on the pedal, just like the one I saw you polishing once weeks before. My eyes welled up. He knew. He had seen me. Inside the package was a beautifully knitted scarf in a deep green, my favorite color, and a small, handwritten note that simply read, "Thank you for seeing us and for showing us what kindness truly means." I looked up at the boy, his face bright with a kindness of his own, and then out at the world around me, filled with the warmth of the sun and the gentle murmur of life. My heart swelled with a profound sense of peace. I knew then that Mary's spirit of kindness, her legacy of love, continued to live on through me and now through others. I understood that purpose isn't found in what you lose, but in what you give, and that sometimes the greatest gifts are the ones you never expect to receive in return.